What's up, everybody? We are back with another review. This one's going to be shorter because we're not talking about a full game. We're talking about a DLC, and that is the new Revelations DLC for Doom: The Dark Ages. I did a whole review last year when Doom came out about my thoughts on it and how good I thought it was. I ended up giving it like a 9 out of 10 overall. Boomer shooter genre, a little more specific, 9.5 out of 10. If you want to watch that review, I'll link that down below. That's a much more in-depth review about how I felt about the pros and so-sos and the cons. Today I'm just going to talk about the new things that were pros and so-sos and cons about Revelations, and not be as in-depth. But if you want to check that out, that's going to be linked down in the description below. But if you don't know, Doom: The Dark Ages is a game in the Doom series, which created the Boomer Shooter series, or the Boomer Shooter FPS subgenre. And it was the latest one. We're not going to get in depth. It's more medieval times. You have a shield, and it's Doom. You shoot a bunch of monsters. You get put in arena areas. You don't get out until you kill all the demons. But that's Doom. Anyways, if you want to hang out live while I play single-player games or when I fill in the gaps with Apex or Warzone or whatever, link is in the description down below as well. Just a quick, the highlights for this pros, the so-sos, and the cons from my original Doom Dark Ages review is I didn't like the climbing in the game. I thought the climbing was too slow. I still think the climbing is a little bit slow in this game. I do wish it was a little bit faster just for like smoothness sake. So I was parrying. I'm just not a parrying fan in general. I don't really like having to parry in games. It's just not my favorite thing. But the system in the game is pretty easy, so it's not a real negative, and it's just something that I don't prefer. If you like parrying and you like it difficult, you're definitely going to play on the higher difficulty levels, which will make other things more difficult, but not a big deal. And then the other pros was the maps were more open than the previous Doom games, which this continues to be the case. There's more narrative stuff, and that continues to also be the case, which I actually like, and I know a lot of people didn't like. The graphics, they didn't change, obviously. They're amazing. The shield saw is really fun. And other than that, limb removal, environmental destruction is fun as well. There was no mechs in this, which I had in my pros. There was no dragons, which I know were a mixed thing. The expansion doesn't have that, or the DLC doesn't have that. When we're just looking at new things, I didn't really have any cons. Nothing was for the worse in the DLC. For things that were so-so, was part of the narrative part of the game and the storytelling was there was flashbacks to before Doom Guy was Doom Guy, and I just didn't think they added a lot. I thought they were kind of pointless. If you're into the lore, maybe it's interesting, but I thought they were kind of pointless and a waste of time. And then the other so-so was the new chain spear, whatever they're calling it, that you get. I ended up, you don't have your shield for a little while. You do get it back. I ended up just using the shield. I went right back to mostly using the shield, except one boss fight was easier with the spear because you had to dodge a little more. But I mean, the spear is nice because it's a pro in the way that it mixes up gameplay, makes it different, makes you be able to experience the game in different ways, gives you more options. All of that is fun, and it is important to some of the puzzle solving and the movement around the map. But when it came to combat, I just preferred the shield. I liked the parrying system better. I liked that the shield could block projectiles even when you weren't parrying. And I just like the shield a lot better. The other real pro was new skill training, and I want to say this was in the base game, but I have it under here because I don't remember if it was or not. When you upgrade and learn a new skill, you go into a training arena. I always like that. But if you liked Doom: The Dark Ages, you will like Revelations just as much, unless the mechs and the dragons were really important to you. I put the mechs as pros originally, but it wasn't super important to me, and the dragons I didn't even put anywhere on there. So if you liked that stuff is missing from the DLC. But if that stuff doesn't change how you feel about the game, then your feelings won't change for Doom: The Dark Ages Revelations. It's just more Doom: The Dark Ages, which I thought was an excellent game, as I already mentioned. And I thought this was an excellent expansion as well. It adds to the story and the lore of Doom: The Dark Ages, gives you more Doom gameplay, which is always a good thing. Just classic FPS action, and the game looks just as good and plays just as well as it did before. I did think it was a little bit short, but it's not. It's a DLC. It's not going to be a full game. For a $20 DLC, it did feel a little short. I finished in about 6 hours. When it was coming out, it said it would be about 10 to 12 hours. Maybe if you go 100% it, go collect everything, go back through once you have the master key at the end. to unlock more areas. Maybe it's 10 to 12 hours then, but if you just do one playthrough of the campaign, it's about 6 hours, at least for my playtime. So I did think it was a little bit short for it being a $20 expansion. I thought, maybe $12 to $15 would fit better, but it's Doom. It's 2026. Games are going to cost a lot. It's a big name franchise, so they can afford to charge a little bit more than they need to, and people will still buy it like I did. So overall, I thought it was a really good expansion. I like I said, not going to complain about more Doom the Dark Ages gameplay. Had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to stay consistent with my rating that I gave Doom the Dark Ages and give it a 9 out of 10, 9.5 when you get more specific into the boomer shooter genre. Hard to ever give a game a 10, but it didn't add any negatives. It didn't fix any really of the negatives before, but all of the positives were just as positive. So that's my thoughts on Doom the Dark Ages Revelations. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you like my content, you want to see it first. And while you're checking out the description for my old Doom review and my Twitch, I also have the Doom the Dark Ages playthrough playlist linked down below for my single player channel, which is also linked down below, and the Revelations gameplay is just at the end of that playlist. I also have hiking and car, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube's linked down below, so if you want to check out my links, support me here, there, or anywhere, I of course appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.